Hello and happy spring, and I'm sorry about that nonsense, but it is what it is. Today or this weekend is going to be a perfect day to get my hands in the soil and plant this garden bed. I'm doing something new in this garden bed. Hopefully it works, number one, and number two, hopefully the critters do not eat everything here like it's a buffet. But before I get into what I'm going to be doing into this bed, I just want to show you my garlic that I have in another bed. So in this bed right here, I have my garlic, and you can see all of this garlic here. This is half of what I grew. You're really annoying. This is half of the stuff that I grew last year, and then I also bought some seed garlic. But this right here is what is called a hardneck variety of garlic, and they grow garlic scapes. And these things are actually really good to make like a garlic scape pesto or like garlic scape butter. And all it is the flower portion of the garlic head. And what actually happens is, the reason it's called hardneck is because this part right here goes all the way down into the garlic, and when you split the garlic open, it's got a hard core or a hard center. So that's really cool, and you can do things with this. So I think I'm gonna try and figure something out to do with this garlic scape before it actually blooms. And then that means garlic is almost ready to be picked. So I think with garlic anyways is you want to wait for about 3 to 4 dead leaves at the bottom. And it's starting to do that, as you can see on some of my garlics here. But I just wanted to share my garlic with you. And then while we're at it, I might as well show my potatoes. So I have 5 potatoes in here that are growing and looking beautiful. And then next to that is the bed that we're going to be planting out. I also went ahead and started some more pepper seeds. I want to see if the ones that I plant now compared to the ones that I planted a while ago are going to be the same size, because the ones I planted a while ago are still pretty darn small. So I'm just kind of doing an experiment, plus in case some of them don't survive, I would like to have some backups. But this bed here, I am going to do very similar to what I did in the main garden over there, and I'm going to actually drive some T-posts into this garden bed. It's pretty deep, so it should be okay, but I'm just going to drive them into this bed, and I think I'm going to try 6 in here, and I'm going to probably overload this bed. That's fine. But I'm going to drive 6 T-posts in here, 1 there, 1 here, 2 in the middle, and then 2 on the other side. And I'm going to plant my squashes here. And then I'm going to plant some pumpkins that are going to drape over the front of this and sort of grow out that way. So I went ahead and prepped this bed. I added some of the compost to the top of this bed to give it a nice healthy dose of nutrients. And I think tomorrow I'm actually going to come through and plant the things. But today I'm going to grab some stakes and I'm going to put them in here and see how they do, how they hold up overnight. Now that I've got my 6 T-posts right here, I'm going to hop on this bed and I am just going to try and shove them down. Hopefully I don't need anything to do that, but that's what I'm going to do. You can't come up here. I may need to go get the T-post driver. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that I'm going to be overcrowding this garden bed. All right, I'll be back in the morning to plant. All right, hopefully it's not too windy and the turkey isn't too loud, but I have my plants set up like this, and I think I actually only need 4 of these T-posts and not 6 of them. So I just have to decide which 4 I'm going to keep and which 2 I'm going to get rid of. And I kind of have it set up right now to where that I have a plant here and there, here that I want to keep. So it's like these 4 here, and then possibly get rid of these 2 over here so I can plant a couple of things that will drape over that way, and then plant a couple things that'll drape over this way. And I haven't quite decided. Yeah, I think I'm going to get rid of the 2 on the end and just keep these 4 here. So I'm going to get these planted. In here I am planting long white zucchinis, crook neck sunny superset, and these are the smooth-sided yellow squash. And then I have a golden zucchini and a black beauty zucchini. And I'm only going to put 1 plant on each of these T-posts, and then I'm going to give the rest of these to my school. And I think I'm just going to go as close to the T-post as I can, so that way it's easier to tie up as it's growing. I forgot to get these labeled before I moved on, so I've got to remember what is where. I know the back one is the Black Beauty. And then the front one is the Golden Zucchini. The back corner one is the crooked neck squash, crook neck. And the front one is the long white. Dang, I actually remembered. And this pen that I'm using, it's a garden marker. If you use permanent marker, it will fade over time in the sun, and then you'll have no idea what it is that you're growing. So I switched over to this garden marker. It is fade proof and waterproof, so they say. Okay, now back to this. These are spaghetti squash here. And butternut squash. I think I want this to be closer to the edge. Lean it facing towards the edge a little bit more. Hopefully it'll help it grow that way. I don't know. And this actually might be a bad idea. I might end up moving these to another bed because I don't know if I want them covering this side of the bed as I open the door to the garden. So I'm gonna think about that. I'm gonna grab some extra soil and mound up where I'm gonna put these pumpkins so they're raised up higher and can kind of go over. And I think I am gonna move those to this bed next to me and get rid of these nasturtiums. All right, I'm gonna be removing these nasturtiums right here because I just don't need them and I have plenty of them. Have you ever ate a nasturtium flower? They're peppery. Good. Alright, so I went ahead and loosened up the soil in here and pulled out most of the bigger roots, and then what I'm going to do is I have potatoes back here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build up the soil in the front of the bed so that the plants sit up a little bit taller. I don't know if there's any rules against planting potatoes and squashes together, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And I can promise you we will probably be seeing nasturtiums growing in this bed again. Because there are so many seeds in there, they're going to be back. I am going to go ahead and just plant one more of these black beauties in here since they are my favorite zucchini, and just let it kind of free grow without trellising it and see what happens. And a little bit of fish fertilizer to give them a nice kickstart. Just a little bit. Maybe about half, 3/4 of a capful. This stuff stinks. In to the watering can. Water from the hose so that it all just kind of settles in. Alrighty, I had to bring you guys back into the greenhouse because it is just too windy out there and the wind is really annoying on camera. So let me know, have you guys ever grown squashes and things like that vertical? What do you love about it? What do you hate about it? Will you ever do it again? I'm curious. This is the first time that I'm actually doing it, so I'm really interested to see how it's going to work out, how I like it. Fingers crossed that nothing eats those things over there. I do have a problem with probably squirrels eating things in there. They didn't touch the garlic, but they sure did go after that onion as it was growing. So hopefully when I wake up tomorrow morning, everything is going to be perfect and just the way that I left it. But that is it. I know I was probably going to overcrowd that garden, but I thought twice and I thought better of it. Probably still would have been just fine, but yeah, now I can have a better idea of what's going on in those beds if anything happens, because they're not overcrowded. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I truly do appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.